The Ukrainian president held a phone conversation with US President Trump on May 8th. According to Zelensky, the discussion was warm and constructive. The two leaders congratulated each other and their nations on Victory Day in World War II, welcomed the ratification of the US-Ukraine Economic Partnership Agreement, and addressed the next steps toward peace.
Ukraine is ready for a full ceasefire starting right now, from this very moment, a 30-day silence. But it must be real. No missile or drone strikes, no hundreds of assaults on the front. The Russians must respond appropriately by supporting the ceasefire. They must prove their willingness to end the war. This isn't the first time we're offering this once again. 30 days that could become the beginning of years of peace. A ceasefire, lasting and reliable, will be a real indicator of movement towards peace.
Zelensky stated that the United States can help to achieve peace, stressing that the world needs America now, just as it did 80 years ago. Foreign ministers from European countries arrived in Lviv to observe Europe Day on Friday. As the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Kaja Kallas stressed on X, they will celebrate this day with Ukraine and its people, explaining that both joy and hardship are shared in a family. According to the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, delegations from 35 countries and the European Council started their visit at the Field of Mars in the Luchakiv Cemetery to pay tribute to the fallen Ukrainian heroes who defended their homeland against Russian aggression. Among the delegation is the new German Minister of Foreign Affairs, Johann Vadeful. He arrived in Lviv the day before, according to a video he published on his X page. The Security Service of Ukraine reported on May 9th that it had uncovered a spy network operated by Hungarian military intelligence targeting the Ukrainian state. According to the SSU spokesperson Artem Dekhtarenko, the group's main mission was to collect intelligence on the military security of Ukraine's Zakarpattia region. According to case materials, a Hungarian intelligence officer handed cash to an agent for the purpose of funding the assigned operations. This included identifying and recruiting a local network of informants. The security service found that the agent attempted to recruit at least 2 individuals.
The traitor received a mission, gauged the trends of the local civilian population and gathered the following information. Part of the intel gathered included what would be the objective reaction of both civilians and military personnel that resides in Zakarpattia should a peacemaking contingent enter the region, in particular the Hungarian troops.
The United Kingdom is ready to announce the largest sanctions package against Russia yet, to ramp up the pressure on Putin. According to Prime Minister Keir Starmer, one cannot underestimate the threat that Russia possesses to the UK's national security. The press release, published on the official UK government website, says that London will sanction up to 100 oil tankers that form a core part of Putin's Shadow Fleet operation and are responsible for carrying more than $24 billion worth of cargo since the start of 2024. British volunteer Chris Garrett, who risked his life clearing mines in Ukraine, was killed during a humanitarian mission in the Kharkiv region. The announcement was shared by Sean Pinner, a former British soldier and Ukrainian Marine. According to him, Garrett, alongside other team members, were severely injured in an incident near Izum. 2 of the 3 critically wounded individuals have passed away, including Garrett. Chris Garrett, callsign Swampy, was a former British Army soldier, known as an explosive ordnance disposal specialist. He first ran a makeshift training program, teaching small batches of troops how to safely navigate minefields, dismantle booby traps, and handle unexploded ordnance. Swampy was a founder of Prevail Humanitarian Aid Organization, a bomb disposal charity that also conducted training courses and provided medical support.
If we can help 10 people from not having an accident, that's all that matters, you know, I think.
Russia will face more sanctions if it refuses peace negotiations, stated the new German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. While meeting the European Council President Antonio Costa in Brussels, he emphasized further support for Ukraine.
We will, in close solidarity with our European partners, continue to support Ukraine. We will support them so they can continue to effectively defend themselves, and we stand ready, if necessary, to also exert further pressure on Russia. We call on Russia to now finally embark on the path for genuine peace negotiations. If this does not happen, we will not hesitate, together with our European partners and the United States of America, to further increase sanctions pressure.
Merz also revealed some of the details of his phone call with the US president, mentioning that Trump informed him about plans for a 30-day ceasefire. The German chancellor stated that he supports this step, underlining that Moscow is now being called upon to finally agree to a longer ceasefire, which will create space for a genuine peace treaty. US Vice President J.D. Vance considers the Russian demands for a peace settlement in its war against Ukraine are excessive. In an interview with Fox News aired on Friday, he stated that the United States knew that Russia would ask too much because of Moscow's perception of the war.
And our attitude is we don't want Ukraine to collapse. We obviously want Ukraine to remain a sovereign country, but Russia can't expect to be given territory that they haven't even conquered yet. And that's one of the things that they put down in that initial peace plan. So
he believes that it's already progress that Ukraine and Russia are taking part in negotiations, as well as presenting concrete peace plans. However, Vance stressed that Washington may withdraw from the process if Russia does not engage in the talks in good faith.
We knew that the Russians' first offer would be too much. We knew that they would ask for more than was reasonable to give. That's how negotiations often work. I'm not bothered by that. What would bother me is if we conclude that the Russians are not engaging in the negotiation in good faith. And if that happens, yeah, we're going to walk away. The president's going to say, we're out of this thing.
With a separate column of drones to which Russian forces are using in the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Moscow's annual Victory Day parade was held in Red Square. Russian leader Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and over 24 other foreign officials watched on as drones mounted on trucks were displayed across the square alongside other military equipment, according to Radio Free Europe. Among the UAVs was Russia's copy of the Iranian Shahed 136 drone, known as Herань. This type of drone, in particular, is used by Moscow to target critical infrastructure and residential areas of Ukrainian cities. More than 10,000 Russian soldiers participated in the event, along with military contingents from several other Kremlin-allied nations. Parade units from 13 countries, including China, Vietnam, Egypt, Mongolia, and Myanmar, marched across the square. Russian leader Putin greeted the North Korean soldiers attending the military parade, exchanging handshakes with Pyongyang's high command positioned in the front row among the troops present. An international coalition of 39 countries, the so-called Core Group, officially supported the establishment of a special tribunal for the crime of Russian aggression against Ukraine. The decision was made during their meeting in Lviv. Among those participating were the Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal, High Representative of the European Commission Kaja Kallas, European Commissioner Michael McGrath, along with representatives of the Council of Europe and foreign ministers of the Core Group member states.
If even one war goes unpunished, more wars will follow. That's exactly why Putin started a full-scale war against Ukraine. He got away with his earlier wars like a thug who never had to answer for anything. That must never happen again. And today, right in front of you, is a decision to create a mechanism that can help prevent future wars through accountability. A decision to create a tribunal.
While addressing the participants of the meeting, the Ukrainian president stressed that Russia must be held accountable for its aggression, just as the Nazis were. He underlined that a strong tribunal for the crime of aggression can force any potential aggressor to think twice.
It is European Day in Europe that we celebrate, and I think it's very symbolic that we are here. I think everybody who cares for freedom should see what we are seeing here today.
After today's decision of the Core Group, the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe will meet in Luxembourg on May 13-14 to begin the formal process of establishing the Special Tribunal.
This is the moment where Vladimir Putin could, of course, end this war with a ceasefire and begin the process of accountability for what he has put the people of this country through.
The establishment of the Special Tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine will be based on the agreement between Ukraine and the European Council. It will have the power to investigate, prosecute, and try Russian political and military leaders who bear the greatest responsibility for the crime of aggression against Ukraine. Among them, Russian leader Vladimir Putin, Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The European Union announced the allocation of almost 1.9 billion euros for military support to Ukraine, reported the Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal. New weapons will be purchased at the expense of the proceeds of frozen Russian assets through the European Peace Facility. Making this a historic decision, Shmyhal stressed. 1 billion euros will be used to purchase weapons directly from Ukrainian manufacturers. In the so-called Danish model, over 600 million euros will be spent on artillery and ammunition, and more than 200 will be used to strengthen Ukraine's air defense.